The Canon EOS R8. People say that it's an amazing camera. I've watched a lot of reviews on it, as I'm sure you have. They also say that it's just a Canon R6 with a smaller battery and one SD card slot. Well, I went out and purchased this camera, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use this camera as your professional camera, as your main camera setup, as your main deal for video, not for photos, but for video. So with that, let's get into the video. I think it's going to be very useful. Let's get into it. Before we talk about anything else, every clip that you see in this video was shot with the Canon R8. Every single clip, except for the B-roll of the R8, that was shot with the C70. So I wanted to get that out there. Also, the C70, yes, is still my main camera. It's the one camera that I use every single week. That's actually what you're watching me on right now. Canon C70 is still my main camera that I use every single week to do my job. But I did go out and buy the Canon EOS R8 as a B camera because it does shoot quality stuff, which we'll get into in just a second. So I just wanted to get that out the way. I do use the Canon C70 as my main camera still, and it's bigger and it's more of a workhorse than the Canon R8. But you have to think about, this is a $5,500 camera. The Canon C70 is. This is only a $1,500 camera, which I wanted to get that out the way. This is $1,500 for the body only. For a lens is going to be extra, obviously. So with that, also, everything I talk about in this video is the links are down in the description. Like every accessory that I talk about, the links will be down in the description if you want to build your rig up the same as I build mine up in this video. So finally, with all that out the way, let's talk about the best way of using this camera. So when I first purchased this camera, the biggest complaint and problem I had was the battery life. Like, it dies so fast. Yes, these are the same batteries that used in the Canon RP, but the Canon RP did not die that fast. Obviously, it's because this shoots at way higher bit rates and way higher quality than the RP. The RP was just sipping battery because it ain't really doing much. This is actually doing a lot. Shooting 4K 60 at 340 megabits per second, that's a lot. So it's sucking that battery dry. So that's the biggest problem that I had with this camera, and that's one of the biggest problems that I had to come up with a solution to fix if I was going to use this thing out in the field. So what I did is they promoted this camera of being a live streaming camera. Canon, they boosted it up sky high of this thing you could use for live streams, which you can. So I researched how are they doing it, because I know they're just not switching out batteries every time it dies, because that'd be annoying. You'd be sitting there playing, streaming, or whatever you're doing, and you got to switch out a battery instead of letting this thing run. So I did some research and found out there was a cable that you could buy. So the cable was actually a dummy battery and a male connector that converts to USB-C. So holy freaking cow, I figured out how I could use this thing out in the field without worrying about my battery dying every 30 minutes. So I went out and purchased the cable. Here it is. This is all it comes with. It's $11 on B&H. You plug it in to your camera. You have to also get this adapter, which they have on Amazon. The name of it is a Model PD PX converter. Links will be down in the description. The names of these things are weird. This is what converts it to USB-C. So you plug this right in there, as you see in this footage, and then you plug this into your battery. Then now you have whatever external battery you have, that's the battery that is going to get you the juice to this camera for all day use. My situation is I found out the Crave Plus Pro power bank is the only power bank that I have that will actually work, because this gives it power delivery non-stop. As soon as you plug it in right here, as you see, it lights up, it is good to go. As long as it's plugged in, you have nothing to worry about. That camera is gonna stay on all day. Well, until this battery dies. Let me rephrase that. But this thing is a big battery. It's not gonna die anytime soon. So you're probably wondering, okay, so you got that figured out. You got battery, you have juice all day without worrying about anything. I do, it's great. So now let's get into the setup. So before I do that, I wanted to tell you, I did try the Anchor battery. This will not give it constant power. It will light up and get it going, but it ends up turning off by itself. See, it does go, but then you have to worry about it turning off randomly for no reason. Like, yes, I've run tests on these batteries, and this battery is the battery that I use. This Crave Plus Pro battery is the battery that I use. The link will be down in the description as well. I used for my daughter's graduation. It lasted the whole hour and 15 minutes, no problem. Didn't have to worry about anything, left it recording. This one I ran some tests at my house. Come to find out, it just shuts off for no reason. So the Crave Plus Pro is the battery to get for this setup. So I have my power solution. I did buy a couple of these cables. Just for the record, I would recommend having a few of these on standby, because if you're doing this for a living, or if you're doing this, like it's important, like it is to me, it's important to you, have a couple of these in your bag, just so in case something happens to this, you could pull out another one and you're good to go again. They're very cheap, stock up on them while you can, in case for some reason they stop selling them. That's how my mind works. But stock up on them, you know, have them, because they're really amazing, and get you a couple of batteries as well. Those batteries aren't that expensive. So now that we have the power solution, now, I mean, we don't have to worry about little bitty batteries anymore. Let's go ahead and rig this thing up and get it ready to use, being comfortable, you know, on a day. Say you gotta go shoot a wedding, or, you know, shoot whatever. Let's get it going. So I'm gonna plug this in, and I'm also gonna shoot close-ups of all this too, so you have close-ups, but I'm gonna do it here too, so you're good. That's your situation right there. Camera, cable, battery, all right? I also use my Ronin. This is the Ronin that I use. It's Ronin S. With the Canon R8, this thing is amazing. It's nice and light. I also have this right here to hold the battery. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that up real quick. I will be right back. So bam, now this is my setup. I have juice, I have stabilization, and I have, I don't know, camera that shoots great footage. I mean, what else do you need from me? And I could throw audio up here. I mean, I could hit record from my gimbal, which is amazing. It's nice and light. It's just great. I mean, you could find a Crave Plus battery that is a little smaller if you want, but honestly, that does not affect me. It don't add that much weight. And if you wanted to get really technical in it, which I'm going to before I take this out on another shoot, is you can really wrap these cables up to make it look even nicer, which I have some ties in there, which I need to do it. But honestly, it don't bother me. You just hold it like this all day, because it's lighter than the C70. With the C70, I used the Ronin S2 without external battery, because it has the batteries that, you know, last a long time on there. But this is still lighter than that. So this is a great solution, all day battery life with great quality. This is the way to go. This is what I would recommend for shooting video with this camera. Keep that in mind. This is not for photos. This is for video. So, I mean, you could hit record, you could stop recording, you can pop your audio on here, all day battery life. You can't get any better than this, in my opinion. I think you can't get any better than that. Let me know in the comments if y'all have any other ideas of what I could do to make it better. But this is amazing in my opinion. I love it. I mean, all day battery life. I love it, it's great. Anyways, I'm pumped on this, I'm excited. This setup right here is a workhorse. You don't have to really worry about batteries dying. And an important part of the shoot, the overheating really doesn't bother me unless you shoot really long clips in 4K 60, which is possible, so keep that in mind. You know, keep that in mind, that is possible. This is a perfect B camera, in my opinion. The setup is powerful, lightweight, and amazing. If you need a B camera for interviews, the Canon R8, in my opinion, is the camera, the great B camera to use. If you need a lighter camera for B-roll, if you're gonna be out walking down a street and you have to shoot tons of B-roll, this camera is the one you should take. It's lighter. If you need camera for, you know, low light, this camera is the one you should use. In my situation, I have the C70 or the Canon R8. If I'm going out to shoot low light stuff, I'd bring the R8. I mean, it's lighter, it has plenty of battery life, SD card, SanDisk 128, plenty of storage. It's good. And then if it's low light, it's not gonna be hot, so you can shoot 4K 60, but you might wanna keep it at 4K 30 because keep your shutter speed down, have more light going into the sensor. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying. I do want you to realize this is not a cinema camera. It is not a cinema camera replacement, because it does not have built-in NDs like the C70. There's a reason why cinema cameras cost what they cost. This camera is just a great backup camera. I did say in my intro of my video, you could use this as your main professional camera for professional work, and I mean that. But if you already have a cinema camera, don't go out and buy this one and sell your cinema camera. That is not what this is. This is a great backup camera. Shoots amazing footage. So with that, if you have any questions or you feel that you could help me get my setup even better, leave them down in the comment section. I would love to hear from you and I will reply to you. Just remember everything that I mentioned, the links will be down in the description. So with that, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell notification, and I'll see you in the next video.